AITA by not being able to forgive my husband after he cheated on me with our mutual friend. I still remember the exact moment my world cracked open. It was late at night, and we were both lying on the couch after dinner, something we used to do all the time. The kind of quiet, cozy moment that made me feel safe, like everything in my life had finally settled into place. I was half asleep, curled up with my head resting on his chest, listening to the soft rhythm of his breathing. But he wasn't relaxed. He was tense. His phone buzzed constantly, and every time it did, I could feel him shift just slightly. Like he was holding his breath, waiting for me not to notice. That should have been my first red flag, but I ignored it. I always did. For months, I'd been feeling something off in our relationship. Little things that didn't quite add up. He stopped wanting to have sex. Not completely, but enough that I started questioning myself. Was I not attractive anymore? Had I gained weight? Was I boring him? I tried joking about it, making light of the situation so I wouldn't feel so insecure. I even bought new lingerie once, hoping to surprise him. He smiled, kissed me on the forehead, and said, "Not tonight, babe. I'm just really tired." I believed him, because I wanted to believe him. He became more distant, less affectionate. We used to sit side by side on the couch, legs tangled together, arms wrapped around each other. But lately, he'd sit diagonally across from me, angled away like there was some invisible wall between us. I told myself it was stress. The pandemic had changed a lot of things. We were both working from home, isolated from friends, stuck in this weird limbo where time blurred and days ran together. Maybe he was just overwhelmed, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. And then, one night, I saw it. His phone buzzed again. I watched as he quickly unlocked it, eyes scanning the screen before locking it again. He didn't say anything, didn't laugh, didn't react, just stared blankly ahead. I shifted slightly, pretending to be asleep, watching through half-closed eyelids as he typed something out. Then, without thinking, I reached over and grabbed his phone. "Hey," I whispered, feigning grogginess. "Let me check something real quick." He hesitated. For just a second, his fingers tightened around the phone like he didn't want me to see it. But I gave him a sleepy smile, and eventually, he handed it over. It was open on Snapchat. At first, I didn't think much of it. He used it often to talk to friends, especially during quarantine. But as I scrolled up through the conversation, my stomach dropped. There she was, our mutual friend, someone I considered close. She'd even been over, recently, acting like she was there for me, telling me how lucky I was to have such a great husband, how he was always talking about me when they hung out. I remember laughing, saying something like, "Oh, I bet he complains about me nonstop." And she laughed too, a little too hard. Now, looking at her name on his screen, I felt sick. I opened the conversation. The messages were recent, sent just minutes ago. One read, "I wish I could hold you right now. I miss you so much." Then another, "She tried to seduce me last night, lol. You know how she gets sometimes." I stared at the words. My heart pounded so loudly in my ears that I thought I might pass out. I reread them. Again. And again. Like if I looked at them long enough, they would change. Like if I blinked fast enough, maybe I'd wake up from whatever nightmare I was in. I turned to him. My voice was barely a whisper. "What is this?" He froze. His face went pale. For a moment, he didn't say anything, just stared at me like I'd caught him doing something minor, like forgetting to take out the trash or leaving the lights on. Then he sighed. "I don't know what you're talking about." I shoved the phone in front of his face. "Don't lie to me. What the hell is this?" Who is she talking about? He looked away, avoided eye contact. That's when I knew. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. This was real. She means me, doesn't she? I asked, my voice cracking. You slept with her, didn't you? He didn't answer. He didn't need to. The silence was louder than any confession. I stood up. My legs wobbled beneath me. I felt like I was going to throw up. How long has this been going on? I demanded. He finally looked at me. His voice was cold, detached. It wasn't even. That's serious. We kissed back in February. That's it. That's it? I repeated, my voice rising. That's it? You kissed someone else and you think that's not even that serious? He shrugged. We were both stressed. It was stupid. It meant nothing. Nothing? I spat. So you mean to tell me that your best friend, our friend, sends you messages saying she wishes she could hold you, and you think that's nothing? He didn't respond. You told her I tried to seduce you, I said quietly. Why would you say that about me? He looked away again. Because I guess I just didn't feel the same way about you anymore. I felt like someone had punched me in the gut. What does that even mean? I whispered. He hesitated. Then, almost casually, he said, I don't know. I guess I just see you as a friend now. In my heart, I mean. I stared at him. My own husband. The man I had promised to spend the rest of my life with. And he was standing there telling me he didn't love me anymore. That he only saw me as a friend. Like it was normal. Like it wasn't destroying me from the inside out. I didn't cry. Not yet. I couldn't. I was too numb. We got married less than a year ago. We celebrated Valentine's Day just weeks before he kissed her. He bought us wine for our anniversary. We laughed. We danced. We were perfect. Or so I thought. Now, I look around this house, the house we bought together, and I can't help but feel like a ghost. Every corner reminds me of him, of us, of the life I thought we were building. I feel like an idiot, like I was played, used, manipulated. And worst of all, I keep asking myself the same question over and over. How did I not see this coming? I didn't sleep that night, or the next, or for most of the week after he said those words. I just see you as a friend now. Like that was supposed to make it better, like that wasn't the cruelest thing he could have said. He stayed in the guest room. I don't know why. Maybe he thought that would make me feel better, that we were giving each other space. But all it did was remind me that he wasn't sleeping beside me anymore, that he had made it that way. I felt like I was walking around in someone else's life. Like this couldn't possibly be happening to me. Not after everything we'd built. Not after all the promises. Not after Valentine's Day, for God's sake. We still had the leftover chocolates on the counter, half-eaten and forgotten, just like my marriage. At first, I tried to rationalize it, to convince myself that maybe it was just a mistake, a stupid, impulsive thing that happened during quarantine. People get lonely, right? Marriages go through rough patches. Maybe we could fix it. But then came the silence. He didn't try to fight for us. Didn't apologize with any real emotion. Didn't suggest counseling or even ask if I wanted to talk about how I was feeling. He just stood there, passive, detached, like he was waiting for me to let him go. And that's when I started to realize he wasn't sorry. Not really. That realization hit me like a punch to the gut. It wasn't just about the affair anymore. It was about the fact that he hadn't even tried to save us. That somewhere along the way, while I was still loving him, planning our future, thinking about what kind of parents we might be someday, he had already checked out. So I started digging. Not because I wanted to hurt him, not because I was looking for more pain. I just needed to understand, needed to know why, needed to know if it truly meant nothing to him, or if he had been lying to me long before that kiss in February. One day, I was using our shared laptop to check an old receipt from a furniture store. I remember buying our couch together. It was supposed to be our couch. The one we'd watch movies on, argue over which show to binge next, fall asleep on after long days. Now, every time I sat on it, I felt like I was suffocating. As I browsed the browser history, something caught my eye. There was an open tab logged into an email account I didn't recognize. At first, I thought it was mine. But when I clicked on it, I saw his name attached to the profile. It was an old email address, one he must have created years ago, before we even got married. I barely remembered it existed. If I ever knew it, all curiosity took over. I admit it. I opened it. What I found shattered whatever was left of my illusion. His inbox was full of messages from her. Some were recent, but others were dated months earlier, back when we were still happy. When we were still laughing, still touching, still saying I love you without hesitation. One message read, "I miss being around you. I wish things were different. Sometimes I catch myself hoping she gets too busy to hang out so we can spend time alone." Another one, sent just weeks after our wedding. "You always seem distracted when you're with her. Is everything okay?" His reply, "She's good at pretending everything's fine. But honestly, sometimes I wonder if we're just going through the motions." I stared at the screen like I was reading someone else's life. Like these weren't my husband's words. My husband, the man who told me 4 months ago that he couldn't wait to grow old with me, who held my hand during thunderstorms, who kissed my forehead when I cried. But here he was, typing back to another woman, our friend, telling her that I was just pretending, that he felt trapped, that he was already questioning whether he wanted to be with me. My hands trembled. I scrolled further down and found an email that made me physically nauseous. Sent in January, months before the kiss in February, it read, "Sometimes I imagine what it would be like to be with you. Just to feel something again. Just to feel something again. Like I was some kind of burden. Some emotional weight he had dragged around until he found someone new to breathe air into his soul." I closed the laptop. My chest hurt so badly I thought I might have a heart attack. I laid down on the floor, staring at the ceiling, trying to catch my breath. I'm not sure how long I stayed there. In that moment, I realized something. This wasn't just cheating. This was betrayal. Calculated. Intentional. Weeks, maybe even months in the making. And I had been living in a fantasy world while it all happened. It was pouring rain the day she showed up at my door. I remember because I had just finished reorganizing the living room, trying to make the house feel less like his, less like ours. I had taken down all the wedding photos, packed away the framed print of our first dance, even switched out the bedding in our bedroom. I couldn't look at anything that reminded me of him without feeling like I was being stabbed from the inside out. So when the doorbell rang, I didn't expect much. Maybe a neighbor, a delivery, anyone but her. But there she was. Rain soaked through her clothes. Her hair stuck to her face. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. And for a second, just a split second, I felt something dangerously close to sympathy. Then I remembered. She lied to me, pretended to be my friend, laughed with me while she was secretly sleeping with my husband, told me how lucky I was while stealing pieces of my life behind my back, and now she stood on my porch like she was the victim. "I know you hate me," she said, before I could slam the door in her face. "And I don't blame you. But please, just let me say what I came here to say." I hesitated. Every instinct screamed at me not to let her in, not to give her another second of my time or energy, but something about the way she looked, broken, raw, desperate, made me pause. "Make it quick," I muttered, stepping aside just enough for her to slip in. She stood awkwardly in the hallway, dripping water onto the hardwood floor. I crossed my arms and waited. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I never meant for this to happen. I swear I didn't plan any of it." I scoffed. "Didn't plan it? You kissed him, slept with him, texted him things about me like I was some kind of joke." Her eyes filled with tears. "I know, and I hate myself for it. I thought it was just going to be a fling, something stupid and impulsive. I didn't think it would go this far." "Oh, really?" I snapped. "Because from what I've seen, it's been going this far for a lot longer than you want to admit." She flinched. "You have no idea what it feels like," I continued, voice trembling, "to find out your best friend, the person who pretended to care about you, was laughing behind your back, talking about you like you were pathetic." She shook her head. "That wasn't me. That was him." I froze. "What?" She wiped her nose with the sleeve of her jacket. "He was the one who started it. I swear. We were talking one night, just venting, and he kept saying how disconnected he felt from you, how he didn't know if he loved you anymore. I tried to tell him, to talk to you, to work it out, but instead, he started leaning on me, confiding in me. And then, one thing led to another." I stared at her. My pulse pounded in my ears. "That doesn't excuse what you did," I said, though my voice wavered. "I know," she said quietly. "I should have walked away. I should have told you. But I was scared. He made me feel like maybe I was the only one who understood him. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to shake her until she understood how much pain she'd caused. Instead, I sat down on the couch. The same couch where I had found his messages, where I had confronted him, where everything fell apart. "So he told you he didn't love me," I said flatly. "Months ago," she nodded. "Before the kiss, before any of it. He already felt like he was trapped." I swallowed hard. "And you still went after him?" "I didn't realize how serious it was," she admitted. "Not until later. By then, it was too late." We sat in silence for a long time. Eventually, she stood up. "I won't bother you again. I needed you to know that I didn't set out to hurt you, and that none of this was ever about you not being enough." I didn't respond. I didn't believe her, not entirely. But as I watched her walk away into the rain, I realized something terrifying. If what she said was true, if he had already been pulling away long before February, then maybe this wasn't about me at all. Maybe this was about him, running from us, from marriage, from commitment, from himself. And I was just the one left holding the pieces. He tried to come back. Not all at once. Not with some grand gesture or poetic apology. Just small things, here and there. A text that said, "I miss you." A voicemail where he whispered, "Please don't shut me out forever." Then, eventually, a letter, handwritten, sealed in an envelope I almost didn't open. Inside, he wrote about regret. About how stupid he felt. How he thought the affair would fix something inside him, but it only made him feel emptier. He begged for another chance. Said he still loved me. That I was his best friend. That he couldn't imagine life without me, and maybe a few weeks ago those words would have broken me all over again. But not now, because now I knew the truth. It wasn't just about the affair. It was about everything leading up to it. The silence, the detachment, the way he stopped seeing me as someone worth fighting for. The fact that he had already decided we were over long before he ever kissed her. So I didn't write back. Didn't call. Didn't answer when he showed up at the house one last time, standing under my porch light like he thought I might just fall into his arms again. I didn't. Instead, I handed him a folder. Inside was a copy of the divorce petition. His face went pale. "You're really doing this?" I nodded. "I can't keep pretending this marriage is real when you stopped believing in it months ago." He tried to argue. Tried to say he could change. That we could work through this. That love doesn't just disappear overnight. But I knew better now. Love doesn't just disappear. But people do. And he had walked away from us long before he ever walked out that door. The day after I filed the papers, I did something symbolic. I changed the locks. Not because I was afraid he'd come back, but because I needed to feel like this house, this space, was mine again. That every corner of it belonged to me now. That I could walk through each room without feeling haunted by the ghost of what we used to be. I also cut ties with her. No dramatic confrontation. No screaming match. Just a simple message. "We're not friends anymore. Please don't contact me again." She replied instantly, apologized, said she understood. Good, because I didn't want to hate her forever. But right now, I needed to protect myself, even if that meant letting go of someone I once considered close. I started therapy a week later. At first, I didn't think it would help. I thought I was too far gone, too broken, that no amount of talking would erase the pain of betrayal. But slowly, I began to see things differently. My therapist helped me understand that this wasn't just about him. It was about patterns. About the way I'd always gravitated toward people who made me feel less than. About how I stayed in relationships longer than I should, hoping I could fix them. Or worse, that I could fix myself through them. This was a mirror. A painful one. But one I needed to look into. And for the first time in a long time, I did. Still have bad days. Sometimes I'll hear a song and remember how we danced to it. Or I'll pass by a restaurant we used to go to and feel a pang in my chest. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night with tears on my pillow, heart racing from a dream where he comes back and tells me it was all a mistake. But I'm learning. Learning how to be alone without being lonely. Learning how to trust myself again. Learning how to rebuild, not just my life, but my sense of self-worth. And most importantly, I'm learning how to let go. So here I am, still healing, still figuring things out, still hurting, sometimes more than I expect, but stronger than I was. And now, I ask the question I know so many people online have asked before me. Am I the asshole for not forgiving someone who clearly never saw me as enough? Or am I the idiot for loving someone who never truly loved me back? Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life drama straight from Reddit. Got a take on the situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you.